needs to understand that Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, none of these countries are part of the Russian imperium anymore, and nor is Ukraine. It's over, 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 over. No more empire, Vladimir, you fucking idiot. Excuse my language. Okay?
This is my video update on this Sunday afternoon, January the 12th, coming to you from Larnaca, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with Boris Johnson. What is wrong with Boris Johnson? Was he drunk when he was recording this video or giving this interview? What is wrong with Boris Johnson? Man, Putin lives in Boris's brain rent-free. He lives in his head rent-freaking-free. He is obsessed with Putin. Boris Johnson. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Ukraine are no longer part of the Russian Empire. It's over, Vladimir, you effing idiot. No more Russian Empire. Take that, Putin. No more Russian Empire. Oh, man. Boris Johnson, man. Lay off the sauce, bro. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Ukraine. No more Russian Empire. It's over, Putin, you effing idiot. Putin, take that. Oh, what a clown, man. He's in the lead for Clown World of the Year 2025. Boris Johnson, man. Oh, boy. So, Bidenopolis. He spoke to Zelenskyy the other day. This is according to Ukraine media. He had what Biden described as a long talk with Zelenskyy. A long talk. And according to Biden, after having a long talk with Zelenskyy, he believes that Ukraine can prevail in its conflict with Russia. That's right. A long talk with Zelenskyy. What exactly is a long talk for Biden? Is that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes? What is a long talk for Biden? Biden on Ukraine war. There's a real chance that Ukrainians can prevail. Yeah, well, you know, there's a chance that I could win the lottery tomorrow. There's a chance that at this very moment, right now, right at this very moment, a pigeon's gonna poop on my head. Guess not. Guess not. There's a chance. There was a chance. There always is a chance, I guess, Biden, if you see it that way. But yeah, Biden, what did he say here with the Green Goblin? Quote, I had a long talk with Zelenskyy today, and I think that as long as we continue to keep Western Europe united as it relates to Ukraine, there is a real chance that the Ukrainians can prevail because the price of participation in the war for Russia is incredibly high. Over 600 some thousand dead or wounded. The Koreans they brought in are having high mortality rate as well, Biden added. Oh, those North Koreans. He doesn't even say North Koreans according to Ukraine media. His quote says Koreans. North Koreans, South Koreans. Who knows? 600,000 dead or wounded, according to Biden. The price of participation in the war for Russia, he says, is incredibly high. And as long as Western Europe can stay united, who cares about Eastern Europe or Central Europe? As long as Western Europe can stay united, then Ukraine can prevail, according to Biden, after his long talk with Zelenskyy. Oh, man. That's how you know they're BSing us when they talk about Biden having a long talk with Zelenskyy. Well, Biden said he had a long talk with Zelenskyy. 5 minutes. That's a long talk for Biden. Then it's ice cream time. So the Financial Times, they are reporting that, yes, indeed, Putin is willing to meet with Trump. Let's walk to the Salt Lake. Maybe we'll see some flamingos. Hopefully, we'll see some flamingos. But fix up my mic here. But the Financial Times is saying that Putin is ready for a summit with Trump, says the Kremlin. U.S. President-elect says meeting being set up, emphasizing a push to end war in Ukraine. That is what the Financial Times is reporting. What the Financial Times is saying in this article is that what Putin is going to want from Trump, from the United States, is a new security agreement. That is the exact words that the Financial Times is using. A new security agreement to ensure Ukraine never joins NATO and that the US-led military alliance pulls back from some Eastern deployments. We've been saying this on this channel, on the Duran. Alexander's been saying this on his channel for 6 months now. The one thing that the United States, whether it was under Biden, whether it's going to be under Trump, the one thing that the United States can offer Russia, that Russia would be interested in, so as to go along with a peace deal, is a new security architecture in Europe. That is something that interests Russia and interests Russian President Vladimir Putin. But you know what that means, a new security architecture in Europe. As the Financial Times states in its article, as we have said for 6 months, that means, as Putin has said in many, many speeches he has given, as Lavrov has said in many speeches he has given, that means that NATO has to retreat. That's right. NATO has to pull back and retreat. Is this something that Trump can offer Russia? Is this something that any U.S. administration could offer Russia? They could, but the chances of that happening are just about as good as the chances of Ukraine prevailing in this conflict, as per Biden's words. There's a chance that this could happen, that Trump could say, okay, we will roll NATO back. Let's get a peace deal in Ukraine. Let's stop the fighting along the current front lines. There's a chance that could happen if he offers this new security agreement and NATO gets rolled back. But is this likely? Is this possible? Will the deep state allow Trump to offer such a thing? No way, man. No freaking way. But that is the one thing that Russia is absolutely interested in. So that's the Financial Times. Finally catching up to the Duran's reporting. And, whoa. Oh man, good thing that was just a soft branch and not some sort of a big, big tree or something. Anyway, let's see. Greenland. Let's talk about Greenland. Man, Greenland taking up a lot of news. There was a poll conducted by the University of Copenhagen. Greenland poll. Independence from Denmark. Independence, 68%. Stay in Denmark, 32%. That's the poll. Independence from Denmark. 68% are saying yes, independence from Denmark. And the leader of Greenland said that what Greenland wants, Egede is his name, Ejde, that's his name, said that Greenland's aspirations are that we desire for independence, a desire to be the master of our own house. This is something everyone should respect. But that doesn't mean we are cutting all ties, all cooperation, and all relations with Denmark, he said. Greenland, according to the current prime minister, the current leader of Greenland, wants independence. Not to be part of Denmark, not to be part of the United States, but to be an independent, sovereign country. And that's what this poll from Copenhagen is also showing. So you know there's a U.S. military base in Greenland, right? There is a U.S. military base. American forces have been stationed on the island since World War II. The U.S. maintained a military base on Greenland and has a defense agreement with Denmark under which it can build additional military sites. So you know the United States, if it wanted to, it could build more military bases in Greenland. It could exploit the resources in Greenland. It could exploit the Arctic shipping lanes. If it wanted to, it can do all of this. This whole song and dance about Greenland joining the United States and the US invading Greenland and annexing Greenland, it's all theater. It's all freaking theater. The US, when it comes to Europe, when it comes to the EU and Europe, the United States can pretty much do whatever it wants, and Europe, the EU, really can't do much about it. I mean, in Greece, the United States decided to, over the past 3-4 years, decided to build a bunch of military bases in Greece, all over the place in Greece, from the north to the south. A lot of weapons through Greece, going to Project Ukraine. I mean, if it wants to do these things, it can do these things, and there's nothing an EU country can tell the United States or can do to stop the United States from building military bases and doing whatever it wants in a country in Europe, in the EU. So if the US really wanted to do something in Greenland, if the Biden White House wanted to exploit Greenland's resources and its Arctic shipping lanes, the Biden White House could have done this. The Obama White House could have done this. And there's not one thing that Denmark would have said or done to prevent this from happening. The difference is that, in my opinion, the Biden White House and the Obama White House, they didn't really want to focus on the resources of Greenland or the Arctic shipping lanes in Greenland. It wasn't their focus. What they were focused on was the neocon project for global hegemony, which was to take Russia head on. Nuland's plan, Kagan's plan, let's just use Ukraine as a battering ram and let's just dismantle Russia head on. We'll get a regime change. We'll place 40,000 sanctions. And once we dismantle Russia, then that's a straight path towards China. That was the neocon Biden plan. That was their foreign policy priority. Not the Arctic, not Greenland, not shipping lanes. That wasn't their priority. That's why they didn't do anything in Greenland. That's why they didn't press the issue with regards to Greenland. The Trump White House, the incoming Trump administration, I have a feeling that even Kellogg, Trump's envoy for the Ukraine conflict, they're starting to realize that they're going to take an L, that the United States is going to take an L when it comes to Ukraine. NATO, the collective West, they are taking a big L. So it's time to shift gears, shift focus. It's time to shift focus and to look elsewhere. Kellogg today said that the United States needs to look at Iran, needs to be very hard with Iran. Trump's Ukraine envoy calls for maximum pressure on Tehran. Keith Kellogg says military, economic, and diplomatic efforts are needed to change Iran for the better. This is Trump's maximum pressure policy that he is going to institute when it comes to Iran. Yeah, if you're going to take an L, a big L, we're talking a big time L when it comes to Project Ukraine, and you're the incoming Trump administration, change the plan up or go to one of the fallback plans. Look at Iran, look at Greenland, look at Arctic shipping. Maybe don't think of U.S. Global hegemony as going into a direct proxy war with Russia, taking Russia head on, and look at it as something more transactional, with a purchase of Greenland or an annexation of Greenland. Maybe look at it that way. Anyway, Greenland making all kinds of news. Eventually, the U.S. will do as it wishes with Greenland, whether Greenland is part of Denmark or not part of Denmark. By the way, the government in Denmark, they are saying that they're ready to talk with the incoming Trump administration about Greenland. They're ready to talk things over. They don't want to talk about the United States taking Greenland, but they're ready to talk about more military bases in Greenland. That's what the government in Denmark is signaling. The problem for Europe, for the EU, is that this is going to be a huge humiliation for the European Union, isn't it? You see, the Biden White House, the interesting part about the Biden White House, their plan was to take on Russia, destroy and dismantle Russia. And the way they approached the Europeans was, look, we're going to be in this together, right? We're going to be partners, and we're going to be in this together, and we're going to rule the world together. Are you guys game? And the Europeans said, heck yeah. They said, oh yeah, absolutely. And they actually believed that they were friends and partners with the United States. And now Trump's coming in and he's saying, we're not partners. What we want to take, we're going to take. And you guys can't do anything about it, because we've got a different plan now. The plan is not about taking Russia head on. The plan is spheres of influence. The plan is the art of the deal. The plan is talking about negotiations and annexations and the Arctic shipping lanes and all of these things, whatever. That's the plan now. And the Europeans are obviously upset about this, because they thought that they were buddies with the Biden White House, and that meant that they were buddies with the U.S. And now they're realizing that they're vassals. They're not buddies, they're vassals. So it's very humiliating for the European Union, what is unfolding in Greenland. Very humiliating. Anyway, let's talk about Germany. And let's talk about Alice Weidel. Am I saying that correct? Alice Weidel? God, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Oh, man. Oh, boy. So there was an AfD party congress, an event, where they laid out their platform ahead of the elections. And Alice, let's just call her Alice. You can call me Alice. Let's call her Alice. She said during her speech that if she is elected chancellor, if she becomes chancellor of Germany, she is going to turn Nord Stream back on. Can that even be done? I mean, there's one pipeline that is operational, but I just wonder what's the state of this pipeline? Is it in a condition that it can just be turned back on, or are we talking about repairs and maintenance that needs to happen? I don't know, but that's what Alice said. If I'm elected, if I become chancellor, Nord Stream is back on. She also said that she's going to tear down all of the windmills and wind turbines. She's going to tear all of that stuff down because it's all useless. It's all useless. And it's an eyesore. We've got some windmills, wind turbines in Cyprus. And man, when you drive by those windmills, it is an absolute eyesore. It just does not look good. That's what she said. And the AfD, there was a proposal for one of the members of the AfD to put into their platform for the upcoming elections to condemn Russia and condemn Putin. And this was put to a vote. This was going to enter their party platform. And the vote was against condemning Russia and putting it in their platform by 60%. Somewhere around there of the members of AfD said, no, we're not going to put in our platform a condemnation of Russia and Putin and the conflict in Ukraine. Interesting. Very interesting from the AfD. So Zelenskyy, he is claiming that Ukraine has captured 2 North Korean troops. Captured them alive, wanted, dead or alive. I'm a cowboy, I'm a green goblin. Oh man, and I'm wanted, dead or alive. Ah, boy, I'm a green goblin, on a steel horse I ride, and I'm wanted, dead or alive. Zelenskyy said that they've captured 2 North Korean troops alive. Alive, man. 2 of the 12,000 that are in Russia, in Kursk, fighting against the invading hordes of the Ukraine military, which is trying to make it to Moscow. They're trying to make it to Moscow via Kursk. And it's the North Korean troops that are holding them back. The last line of defense for Russia and the Russian Federation are those North Korean troops, man. And Zelenskyy said it was a complicated, very complicated operation, capturing those 2, allegedly 2 North Korean troops. They have a military ID, by the way, from the Russian region of Tuva, which is very, very close to Mongolia, actually. It's in the east of Russia. Yeah, so maybe these 2 troops that Zelenskyy captured, maybe they're from the east part of Russia, and they're not really from North Korea, but Zelenskyy claims they're from North Korea. He said the world needs to see this. And he put out photos and videos. He even published their IDs, their military IDs, which say that they are Russian military from the Russian region of Tuva. But Zelenskyy says no, these are North Korean soldiers. He says that they don't speak. He said they don't speak Russian, they don't speak Ukrainian. He actually had to get translators. Are those flamingos? He had to get translators from South Korea to speak with them. Yeah, he posted on this on social media. What did Zelenskyy say here? Where is his post on X? He said, our soldiers have captured North Korean military personnel in the Kursk region. 2 soldiers, though wounded, survived and were transported to Kiev, where they are now communicating with the Security Service of Ukraine, the SBU. This was not an easy task. Russian forces and other North Korean military personnel usually execute their wounded to erase any evidence of North Korea's involvement in the war against Ukraine. I am grateful to the soldiers of the Tactical Group number 84 of the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, as well as our paratroopers who captured these 2 individuals. As with all prisoners of war, these 2 North Korean soldiers are receiving the necessary medical assurance. I have instructed the security services of Ukraine to grant journalists access to these prisoners. The world needs to know the truth about what is happening. So let's just go with this. Let's go with this and let's believe Zelenskyy. Let's believe him and say that Ukraine has captured 2 North Korean soldiers in Kursk, in Russia. Ukraine has accomplished its goal in the Kursk operation, right? They finally did it. This is one of their major goals of the Kursk operation. They've sacrificed men and material and resources and weapons, thousands and thousands of men and resources and weapons in Kursk, in Russia, so that he could capture 2 North Korean troops and show them to the world. In Russia. North Korean soldiers in Russia, not in Ukraine, in Russia. That's the case that he's making. Here you are, world. 2 North Korean soldiers in Russia. Here they are. This was the big goal, one of the big goals of the Kursk operation. Was it worth it? Was it really, really worth it? Just saw a lizard. Just ran right by me. Oh boy, so that's Zelenskyy. I don't know, if he really wanted to push the whole Korea narrative, North Korea narrative, instead of going into Kursk, instead of all the soldiers, all the troops, all the tanks, all the fighting vehicles going into Kursk, getting bogged down in Kursk, getting annihilated by the Russian military in Kursk, why didn't he just 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago just hire 100 South Korean actors and just pretend that they're in Kursk and you've captured them? I mean, I don't know. Man, am I seeing this? Is the way that I'm looking at this wrong? No, it's not, because we know that the real objective of the Kursk incursion, which he started back in August, September, was to seize the power plant. That's the real reason why Ukraine entered Kursk, to get that power plant, to capture it, to threaten it, so that they could gain leverage over Russia and perhaps trade Kursk for the Zaporozhye power plant. And if they had been successful, And we said this at the time when all of this happened. I believe we were the first news channel. Alexander on the Duran, we were the first news channel to report that the purpose of the Kursk incursion was to capture that power plant. And it would have been, if it was successful, if it turned out to be successful, it would have been problematic for Russia and for Putin. It would have been problematic. It would have been embarrassing. Absolutely. But it was not successful. They did not succeed. And he's been bogged down ever since. And the story has been changing ever since. And now the narrative is all about North Korea. That's the narrative now. That's what he's going with. That's what he settled on. He settled on the whole North Korea narrative. Anyway, enough about that. Fico called Zelenskyy a beggar. Fico, Slovakia's Fico. He said, "I'm not here to hold hands with Zelenskyy, and I'll admit it. I'm sick of him sometimes," Fico said at a meeting of the Slovak Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee on Friday. "He roams Europe begging and blackmailing, asking others for money," Fico continued, adding, "This needs to stop." Yeah, Fico's right. Fico's right. You're not wrong. You are definitely not wrong, Fico. You see, this is what happens when they try to assassinate you with 5 bullets to the abdomen, and you're freaking tough and you survive. You don't give an F anymore. You start saying the truth. You stop being a politician and you start becoming a leader. Fico was always a leader, but now he's even more bold, more confident. He's more of a truth teller than any of the other Collective West leaders. He is a truth teller compared to the other Collective West leaders, Fico and Orban. All right, let's go to some clown world. And Reuters is reporting that EU's von der Leyen has not received an invite to Trump's inauguration, spokesperson says. Von der Leyen did not get an invite. No invite to the inauguration. Now, why would the Trump White House invite the vassals to the inauguration? Why? Why do you need to invite von der Leyen to the inauguration? She's upset she didn't get an invite. But I don't see any reason why the Trump White House would extend an invitation to her. I don't know, maybe she can go to the inauguration and help out, like help out with, I don't know, hors d'oeuvres or champagne or something like that. I don't know. Just joking. Just joking. Oh, man. She's upset. She's upset. Poor Ursula. Newsweek has an article with the title, "U.S. companies pay over $1 billion in taxes to Russia amid ongoing Ukraine war." Look at the featured image of Zelenskyy. Zelensky's featured image there. Zelensky's like, "Oh my God, $1 billion, that can buy me many homes." Badoliak, many, many homes. Who are these U.S. companies that are giving $1 billion to the Putin and not to me? Newsweek is saying that you have American companies like, what are the companies like Philip Morris and PepsiCo and some other companies. You also have some European companies, but it's the American companies that are still operating in Russia, and they're paying $1 billion in taxes. $1 billion that could have gone to Zelenskyy. That's why he's upset. That is why he is so freaking upset. There's a great quote here from one of the companies, the U.S. companies that's operating in Ukraine. Let me see if I can find it. Mondelez. Do you guys know Mondelez, what they do? Mondelez. I'm not familiar with Mondelez. I believe it's Is it a Mondelez? 62 million in a confectionery company. Mondelez, 62 million. A confectionery company. Never heard of them. So they pay 62 million in taxes, according to Newsweek, as they operate in Russia. And here's what Mondelez said. Mondelez has remained in Russia, arguing that investors did not morally care whether companies continued to do business there. Honest investors. We're in Russia to make a profit. We don't care. We don't care about pulling out of Russia because, according to the Biden White House, it was the moral thing to do. The investors, according to Mondelez, said, we don't care. Stay in Russia. Continue to operate in Russia. That's what Mondelez is quoted as saying in this article from Newsweek. So yeah, $1 billion. It's not much. Not much for it's something. I mean, it's something that goes into the Russian coffers, but it's not going to change the outcome of the conflict. It's not going to change Russia's economic growth. It's not going to affect Russia's economic growth. 1 billion in taxes. I mean, 1 billion. Zelenskyy spends that in a morning. He spends 1 billion before he sits down for lunch with Podolyak. That's 1 billion right there. But yeah, their Newsweek is making a stink about the 1 billion. Anyway, that's the video, everybody, from the Salt Lake in Larnaca, Cyprus. The birds are hanging out and they're enjoying the day. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. Let's see if I can get to 263,000 subscribers on YouTube. Pick up some merch at the Duran shop. I'm wearing a Duran sweatshirt here, which is really nice and really comfy. I think it looks pretty good as well. Duran sweatshirt. You'll find a link to the Duran shop in the description box down below. I will see everybody tomorrow